Hello again. So we are gonna do brown today, but before we do that, let's do a quick recap. This is my handmade sketchbook that I made years and years ago, and I recently covered it with some collage that I did front and back the same way. And this is Strathmore Series 4 cold press paper with not much rough texture to it at all. It acts more like hot press. But what we've been doing is the Mijello Mission Gold paints. I had a set of 34 that I bought many years ago, probably 8, I think it said. I went and looked at my history. And I am on this quest to swatch out all of my colors, not just Missions, but my Daniel Smiths and my cores, using this little stencil here. And I traced out these color wheels, and I did a little split the paints up to 2 color wheels just to kind of make it pretty and a little less red, orange. I thought this was prettier. I am left with 4 outliers over here, which I will do, and then the browns. So that's where we are now. And for those wondering, I used a Tim Holtz stencil by Stampers Anonymous. It's called THS 179. Just, obviously laid it down and traced it. And it does come in a smaller size, but I like this size because this book is 9 by 12. So I like this size because of the book size. Anyhow, I'm about to start a project in the next day or so that I need browns. And so I, love color, but you're going to have to go over here because I'm not ready for you yet. Today we're going to do browns. So I'll bring the camera down here a little bit closer, but we're going to do burnt sienna, red brown, raw umber, burnt umber, sepia, which I'm really hoping sepia I like well enough to do this project in that, and then Van Dyke brown. So this is what we'll call an audition. I'm auditioning colors. Now, I have a whole other tray over here of other browns that I'm also going to be auditioning before. I have some cores and some Daniel Smiths. So fear not that these are my only options, because they aren't. This is just one set of options, and then I'm going to probably off camera swatch these and make up my mind. But or maybe I'll just start a new spread on this side and just do browns over here. All my browns, for all the browns I have, they'll go there. All my neutrals, I should say, because I've got Payne's Gray in here, because that's even a consideration. And I've got Shadow Violet. I know it's technically a mixing color, but it's in this little pile. Got a color I have never played with, German greenish raw umber. That sounds very scary. Anyway, but for this moment, I'll stop rambling and I'll get to swatching, and we will do these mostly multiple pigment paints. A few of them are throwing us, one pigment surprise, like this one is PBR 25. Most of these pigments are hobbyist pigments and are multiple pigments, which, that may suit you or may not suit you, but this is just meant to be fun and practice and relaxing and informative if it is. All right, so now let's bring this down a little bit more better. Let's see. I might scooch my camera a little bit this way. Pardon the movement. I know that's hard on some people's equilibrium. Okay. Starting with burnt sienna. And what I've been doing with these other is I'm for the sake of not starting a new palette, I'm just pulling pigment from the tube, or in this case the cap. Maybe the cap. Burnt sienna is not a color I've used much, although I have to tell you, I've been watching some artists lately that use burnt sienna and French ultramarine together a lot, and I'm intrigued by the combination of those 2 colors together. So I'm very excited that I have it in Daniel Smith. Yep, sure do. And then I have it in this Mission Gold by Mijello. And this, I'm not sponsored by them, people. I know that when I'm watching other artists do stuff, I want to know sometimes what they're using, or I just want to know more information. So I just provide this as information. It's not meant to be an ad. I'm not trying to influence anybody to buy anything. In fact, I'm on a de-influencing mission myself this year. I've been letting go of things. And my mantra for 2025 is use what I've got. And try to be less of a consumer and more of a doer. It's not being less of a consumer. So let's do more, because let's face it. If you're out shopping for it, or you're spending time on your mobile device, browsing for it, you can't be doing, right? So it's a double-edged sword there. It's not just that you're spending money, you're also spending time. And let's face it, we can make more money, can't make more time. And I've got to be mindful of that. And that's what this year is going to be for me. Very focused on mindfulness and on doing more with what I have, so that I have the time to do it, because I'm not out trolling the stores, or I'm not spending my evenings surfing the websites on my iPad, or you know what I mean. I'm in here instead, in my studio, which is my happy place, playing with colors. Well, this is a very warm brown. I like that color. I like that color. I like this color too. But it's a bit orangey. But then again, I love Quinn Nickel Hazel Gold, and that's a very orangey, warm brown, gold. Maybe it's because it's the word quinacridone. Is it possible we like things for such a silly reason, like a name? Yes, yes it is. All right, let's get this last field. See what we can come up with here. And as I've said in previous videos, this is not meant to be a finished art piece. This is meant to be practice. A little mindfulness, singular focused on the pigment, and not lists and shoulds and what ifs. All right, moving on to red brown, which is a single pigment. Oh, did I say what the color was on this? This is 3 pigments: PBR 25, PR 112, and PY 150. There's that PY 150. It is a that is not focusing at all, is it? It is a ubiquitous color. No, that just does not want to focus. Well, you're just going to take my word for it. Okay, moving on to red brown. This is PBR 25. And again, it won't focus. My apologies. It's probably just too close. Red brown. Ooh, it's gloppy. Ooh, gloppy. Okay, looks like it's got a lot of red. Oh, I was about to say, it looks like it's got a lot of red in it. And then I look at the name, red brown. No. I started my brown journey about 20 years ago in the art world, when I discovered Tim Holtz. I used to call him Jim Holtz because I didn't know any better. His signature made me think it was a J instead of a T. And walnut stain distress ink. I bought some. Actually, I think I bought Vintage Photo first, but don't quote me on that. The year was 2004, and I bought some of his browns. I think I bought Vintage Photo, Tea Dye, and Walnut Stain. And I quickly fell in love with Walnut Stain. It's a very cool brown, which, if you know me at all, I love warm browns normally, or I love warm colors normally. But that Walnut Stain was just the right amount of brown and black. a little bit of green, and a little bit of charcoal. And it just made me happy. And wow, that looks almost black. Look how dark that is. And I started using it, and I still love the other browns too. Of course, since then he's brought out a whole plethora of browns. Frayed burlap and gathered twigs, and I don't know, probably 8 or 10 of them now. His latest one, which came out earlier last year, Scorched Timber. That's a really dark brown. Ground Espresso. It's another really good, yummy brown. Very chocolate. But I discovered how much I love. Oh, I like that color a lot. Is it just me? I don't think so. And it's showing up a little more red on my screen than it is on my screen, and on my paper than it is on the screen. But I'm enjoying that color. Not sure I want to do my new piece in that color, but I might. I think I'm gonna go for a sepia though. So anyway, that started me enjoying sepia, and I've always enjoyed sepia in photography. Black and white is absolutely beautiful, but I think sepia adds a warmth to a photo that is otherwise black and white. Black and white can be cold to me. And cold has its place. But like if you're doing family photos, or you're doing a, I don't know, if certain photos, just, you want to warm them up a little bit, and sepia is it. I think architectural photos and travel photos are great in black and white. But I think people are better in the sepia tones. The shadows are less harsh or whatever. Well, I really kind of want a little more pigment than that in this. Well, hello. Hello. Oh, this was a mistake. I should not have done this. Okay, well, here will be a lesson in what not to do. There's no mistakes in art. There's no mistakes. I keep forgetting that. Not really, but I say it, but I don't always subscribe to it. Okay, let's backtrack a little. Let's pick some of this back up. Boom. What I'm doing is I'm just taking my brush and drying it off in a napkin, blotting it, I should say, in a napkin, and then it becomes like a sponge, because then now I'm going to rinse it, dab it, take some of the water back out, and now I'm just going to spread this pigment out a little bit. This paper is not terribly forgiving if you want to go back and do what I'm doing. So you get a couple, 2 or 3 passes at it, and then you got to be done, or it's going to start pilling on you. Okay, I can live with that. Don't have much choice. I have to live with that. Okay, red brown done. Let's move on to raw umber. Pigment we're dealing with here is PBR7 and PY65. And don't ask me what those mean, except the Y means yellow and BR means brown. And I think the P stands for pigment. Okay, so this cap has that. Oh, look. Oh, great. Oh, wonderful. An opportunity to get messy. And if you know, oh, yay. Let's see if we can just not get this everywhere. Let's get a small little dollop. Yuck. I hate taking the foil off. I always manage to get paint all over me. Alright, this is a very mucky color and a mucky paint. Not sure I'm liking any of these for my project though. So my project that I'm about to start working on is going to be a very large piece. I'm going to use an 18 by 24 piece of watercolor paper. Probably the project size will be slightly smaller than that, but I'm going to start there, and I can always cut it down. And I'm going to do a brown negative space painting for Valentine's of Hearts in brown. I would do rust if I could figure out how to get the right color combo and make enough of that color. That might be a project that I do in a smaller study first. Ow! Cracked my knee on my desk. Okay, raw umber, let's see what you got here. A little more water, I think. But that's why I'm auditioning the browns to see what brown I want to use. I'm pretty sure I want to use sepia, but the whole point of kind of playing with these colors in the sketchbook is so that I don't just always go to my default colors, like sepia. Maybe raw umber is the color I want to use. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go put these up next to the frame, which has got a bit of red in it. It's a large frame. And see what I like best. So that's the point, I think, of having these little practice moments, is to be more acquainted with your paints. Or it's just an excuse to play with them. None of that is wrong. Okay, last section. What's a whisper of a color there, right? Kind of wish for more pigment, but I don't dare repeat that scenario. We're just going to let it be faint. Okay. Raw umber on the book. Burnt umber. This one's 3 pigments. PBR 7, PBR 25, and there's our friend PY 150. He's showing up again. Okay. Definitely a redder color. Kind of makes me think of red brown here just looking at it, but it's got a bit more black to it, I think, than a coolness to it, rather. Not quite as warm. Burnt umber. A little sticky. I just got the the teeniest bit of water just now, just to fill in the rest, because it was kind of all stuck right there in that little middle section. All right. Ooh, I like this color. I like brown. I know, I'm a weirdo. My house is full of dark woods, antiques mostly. They make things just feel so grounded, I guess. I don't know. Earthy. Yeah. Oh yeah. What I'm seeing throughout this whole series of swatching and color studies is some of these colors that are way out here in these outer rings. Oh, that one's very dark, but they're very, very pretty colors. And many times I am looking for a very pale color, and because I just don't think of burnt umber, or sorry, raw umber rather in this case, as a really nice I don't know, cream color. But look at that. Okay, moving on to sepia, my favorite, PBR7 and PBK7. This is why I like it. It's got black in it. So the BK is black. So brown and black together makes sepia. No wonder I like it. I like a dark, cold brown. I know I just got through saying black and white's cold and sepia's warm, but in the brown world, this is a cold brown. This is a cool brown to me. Black in full strength. It's another black one like that red brown one is over there, but it's black. Properties coming to the front, I suppose. Okay, I'm gonna have to add a little water because it's just too coagulated. It could be the cold weather that's doing it too. It's early January in Central Florida, and we're having a cold snap, a cold spell. People think Florida doesn't get cold, and that's not true. Florida gets cold. Florida just doesn't stay cold. You want to know a joke? These are some bad dad jokes, but oh wow, blacker than I would have thought there. But this is a different brand, so all brands are not made equal. Wow, that's very black. The running joke is, how do you tell the locals from the tourists in Florida? Well, when it's 65 degrees out, the locals will be dressed like Nanook from the north. They'll be in their puffer jackets and their turtlenecks and scarves and gloves and hats, and that is not hyperbole, people. That is accurate. And the tourists will be in shorts and sandals. And that is 100% true. I do not like the sepia at all. It is way too much black in this pigment combo. Well, good to know. But if you need a gray, now if I thought this was a gray, I'd be very happy with this as a gray. The other joke is that Floridians only have enough cold clothes, jeans, sweaters, turtlenecks for 3 days of cold weather, because that's how long cold weather typically stays. It stays for 3 days, and then it warms up for 10, and then we get another, 10 days later, we get another cold blast. So if cold weather lasts longer than 3 days, suddenly all the stores get a run on jeans and sweaters and sweatshirts, and because we only have enough cold weather clothes for 3 days. And yes, we consider 65 cold, because we are used to 100 and whatever humidity, and 100 degrees is our, we have two temperatures. We have 2 seasons here, summer and summer junior, with January and February giving us blasts of, we'll call what the rest of the world will call fall weather. That is very, very gray to me, and I am not mad about gray, but I expected a different color of sepia, and now I'm looking over my tray, and I don't think I have a Daniel Smith sepia, and that is going to make me very sad. So you know what that means? I'm going to have to figure it out, because everything I have over here is transparent brown oxide by Core, raw umber by Core, and Van Dyke brown. And then in my browns, I've got burnt sienna, burnt umber, raw umber. No, I don't have any other. I used to have a sepia. It may have sprouted legs and walked off, but I used to have one. All right, our last color of the Mission Gold is Van Dyke Brown, which is PBR 7. And we are going to see how... Oh, this is pretty. This red brown is pretty, but it is not pretty compared to its cousins. I mean, it just kind of stands out like the ginger of the group, right? And I have a ginger, so I can say that. All right, so Van Dyke Brown. All right, let's see. And I can't see anything in the lid, so I'm going to have to try to get some along the side of the... Oh, yeah, there's something right there, I think. Yep, okay, cool. Van Dyke Brown. Ooh. Ooh, that's kind of more... All right, let's try that again. I'm going to squeeze the tube off camera ever so slightly just so I can angle it in such a way that I can see it. That feels like it's more binder than pigment. Oh, I'm not happy about that at all. All right, we're going to wipe that off and we're going to try again. Clean the brush, dry the brush. We're going to squeeze. So what I'm doing is I'm squeezing the bottom up just to the top where I can see it. And I'm just trying now to mix the binder and the pigment to reconstitute it. I'm assuming that's what's happened here. All right, now let's see. No, this is so gloppy and weird. Okay, well, I may have to resort to another plan. Okay, let's see. Let me take a paper towel and wet it, and then I'm just going to clean this little corner of the palette. And I am going to squeeze out some Van Dyke Brown. And it's a lot of Van Dyke Brown, but I'm trying to get past the binder to where the pigment is. And then let me just kind of do a little mixy-do here. Ugh, now I got a ton of pigment on my brush. I'm gonna turn it now, twirl it. Okay, now let's see if we can get a better pigment load. There we go. If at first it doesn't work, try something else. But I'm going to have to offload some of this pigment. I've just got way too much on this brush. All right, so I'm going to twirl it on my enamel pan again, and I'm going to grab a little bit of water. Just a little bit of water. Try to spread some of this out. Probably should have done that with some of my other colors that kind of did this. But we're doing it now, aren't we? Okay, let's grab some water for the next segment. This was a 2 pigment, wasn't it? Van Dyke Brown, where did you go? I tossed you away in disgust. No, you were single pigment, PBR 7. Okay. Well, now I'm definitely going to have to go swatch the other browns because none of these... Well, I got to get the frame. I know. Don't jump to conclusions yet. But I wanted to love one of these just like right out the gate. And Van Dyke Brown actually might be the one I end up using because it's closer to what I was expecting with the sepia. Not quite as black as I would have liked it, but closer. Certainly not that. What the heck that is, I don't know. Well, I do know. It's mostly black. Payne's Gray is like that too, though. One Payne's Gray is not the same across. You know, I think Daniel Smith's Payne's Gray is, personally, I think, very blue. And, you know, there is blue in gray. I get that. But it reads way more blue. And then there's other Payne's Grays, which I think I've heard recently, and it's just new to me, it's not new to the world, but I recently found out, from my understanding, that there's a Davies gray, which is a new, or maybe that's just a different brand manufacturer saying, hey, we're just not going to call it Payne's gray, we're going to call it Davies gray. But I'm not sure who makes that, if that's M. Graham or Sennelier or who. But here I go fussing, charging. Charge. But all right, well, Van Dyke gave us a little challenge, but we didn't let it deter us, did we? Nope. So there endeth the brown swatching. I don't see a front runner. I don't see one that I'm just loving, and I'm a brown connoisseur. So a further brown study is required, and those will be done so that I can. I say brown. There's some neutrals in there, Payne's grays in there, but yep, I'm gonna have to play around with some of those to figure out my project. But for now, this was what I wanted to do. I'm gonna push the camera back up to get a and not pinch my thumb in the process. And there is our color wheel now, with just one more segment to go. The four little outliers. So thanks for joining me again, stopping by. It was good to have you here while I ramble and swatch and explore these fun colors that are new to me in many cases. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.